Well, hello, DirtFish Rally friends, and welcome back to M Sport, to the M Sports. What is this, David? Is it the engineering department? What do we call this? Workshop?
Workshop, factory floor.
The factory floor. It's the M Sport factory floor. It's where we're based all week for the Safari Rally Kenya. Now, we have been waiting a long time to see rallying return to the African continent, and we have had stage one, David. A super special just outside Nairobi. Whereabouts outside Nairobi? North?
Kisam?
Yes, where though? We spent a bit of time debating it.
Northeast.
Northeast.
Around 10 to 12 miles northeast from the centre.
And do you know what was great, David? So we've clearly been really chomping at the bit to see this rally getting underway. So have the local people. They've turned out and forced. The atmosphere at the ceremonial start and at the super special was really something to see.
We sit here, Colin, blithely talking about, 19 years. You know, could you imagine, okay, this year we don't have a Rally GB. Last year we didn't. We've been 2 years without a Rally GB, and we're really feeling about 19 years.
Yes, yeah.
It's a generation of rally fans, isn't it, that have gone without. So it's fantastic to see. On the road section into the first stage, this was a purpose-built stage. They put the flyover in there, the jump, everything was in there, and it's taken a lot of construction and not a massive amount of engineering. I'm sure,
but you said earlier on that there is quite a lot of engineering that's gone into it. They
There
worked
is.
out, because you look at these incredible pictures, and the first thing you see is dust, and you think, my goodness me, we've seen it in places like Finland on the Killary stage.
Yeah.
Real problems with dust if you're on the outside.
Yeah.
But here, they'd worked out the engineering, the dynamics of it, and they'd worked out really how to lay it out to minimise. I don't think you could completely avoid the dust, but to minimise the dust issue.
Well, they've exactly. They've done the sort of mathematics, and there's one guy that we really should reference here is our good friend of DirtFish, Ian Campbell, who's kind of kept us a little bit in the loop with these kind of things, and he was saying that they really have done the maths, as I say, on how much dust will be created and how far it will travel, and they've made sure the lanes were just about far enough apart. It was a brilliant spectacle to open proceedings, wasn't it?
I think it really was. It really was a brilliant spectacle.
And what was great as well.
And there's more, David!
One thing that kind of struck me, I remember going back to Langley Park in Australia, where you would see two cars go off the line and have a real run off the line, first, second, third gear. To get to see that again, you really have the opportunity to see, Toyota versus M Sport car versus Ford versus Hyundai. So, which was the quickest off the line? I know you were watching.
Do you know, I'm going to give you a little historical reference, but we'll see that off the line now. But what I always remember, another rally that had fantastic super specials was Mexico. And they had perhaps one of the best super specials, because you had long straights, top gear, flat out, fast corners, tight corners, bunny jumps, water splashes. But I remember, I was at that super special a number of times, watching the Volkswagens, and every single one of the Volkswagens pulling away from the other cars. It was incredible to see. But you're quite right, just seeing the cars side by side.
Just to put this one to bed, if you give me Mexico, I'll give you Argentina and pro racing as
fantastic
the best
place.
ever super special.
Yeah, pro racing was a great one.
Right, move on.
But, let's just very quickly, we've had one stage, and it is the most manufactured stage of the
most
rally.
innocuous of them all.
It really is. But what we've seen, can we read into what we've seen in terms of the times? Quite clearly, with Ogier fastest, we've then got Rovanpera and Evans before we get the Hyundais. And can we read anything into that?
Absolutely not.
But what about, not in terms of performance, but what about in terms of approach? Do you think it's indicative of the fact that the Hyundais know there's a potential issue? Listen hard.
I'm listening.
I know you are. Yeah. They know they've got a potential issue, and they know they're not going to win it on pace this weekend. They know they have to look after their cars, and maybe that's what we've seen evidence of in that first stage.
Nothing. Absolutely not. You look at the surface, Cole. There is not an awful lot of rocks in there. There's not.
No.
The only approach
double jumps.
Yeah, but the only approach in there was the sensible approach. Nicky Grist always said, didn't he, 100 times, you can never win the rally on these stages. You simply can't. So we saw Sordo take he was quite a slow time, and it doesn't matter. Right. It absolutely doesn't matter.
No, because what we're looking at here are tenths of seconds and seconds. What we will be looking at the end of the rally are minutes.
Absolutely.
Are minutes. So you're quite right. It really, we shouldn't read anything into it. But so, folks, we do have one stage down. We do have now 17 proper challenging stages to come. Friday, 6 stages, 134 kilometres, which is...
We did the maths before. Did we say 78 miles?
Nearly 80 miles.
Nearly 80 miles.
Nearly 80 miles. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic day. But what we'll do for you folks is we'll round out the top 10 at the end of stage one of the Safari Rally Kenya.
Well done.
Oh, I'm getting there. So here we go. Let's have a look at the top 10 at the end of stage 1. So here we go. Sébastien Ogier, fastest through the 4.84 kilometre opening stage of the rally. Kalle Rovanperä, his teammate, is in second, 0.3 of a second down on Ogier's time. Elfyn Evans sits in third, just 0.7 off of Ogier's time. Now, the first of our Hyundais in fourth, that's Oyt Tanak. Then comes Thierry Neuville. Katsuta-san is in sixth, 5.6 seconds off the lead. Gus Greensmith is in seventh. Oliver Solberg, good to see him out this morning after his problems yesterday, in eighth. Lorenzo Bertelli is in ninth, and Adrian Formeau rounds out the top 10, 9.6 seconds off of our fastest time. Do you want to give us a quick story or not? You've got some historic stories, you've got them all written down. Gaz, our producer, is saying no, but if you can keep it brief, it would be a shame.
Well, how about we go for the origins of this event?
Quickly.
We know that the first safari was run in 1953.
The year of the coronation.
The year of the coronation, which is, it's all intrinsically linked. So in 1952, there was a guy called Eric Cecil, one of 3 real rally enthusiasts, didn't really like racing, wanted to go rallying, couldn't convince the East African Autosport Union, EEAA, to run a rally. So couldn't really work out how to do it. Then, obviously in 52, George the Fifth?
You're asking me?
Died.
The Queen's father.
The Queen's father.
Yeah.
But she was then Princess Elizabeth.
That's right.
Her father died. And of course she was in Treetops, which
She
was
in
in
Kenya.
Aberdare, part of the route of original safaris. So Eric Cecil saw this as an opportunity.
You've been watching Netflix, haven't you?
I have.
You've been watching with the Crown.
So Cecil saw this as an opportunity and went back to the EAAA and said, how about we make a tribute? Because obviously at that time Kenya was part of the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
And it was the sort of Kenyan people's tribute or commemoration of her coronation.
Right.
So East African Autosport Union said yes, okay. And then, do you know how much sponsorship they got for that first event in 53?
I have no idea.
£500 off the East African Standard newspaper,
Right.
and £500 from Shell. And that was the birth of the Safari Rally in 1953 to commemorate.
Wow.
But she was just, Queen Elizabeth then, she was just a sort of means to an end to get this great event up and running.
That's ruining the story.
Sorry, it is a little bit.
Do you know what? I'm loving these stories from David. They really are fantastic. So there we are, folks. More stories to come tomorrow. A lot more action, a lot more drama. We are staying here in Cumbria at the M Sport facility. George Donaldson is on the ground. Folks, we'll see you tomorrow for the first day proper of Safari Rally Kenya. Hey!